Hello, everybody. It is 10:30 on Wednesday night, and it is episode 2 of The Dredges. Hopefully, everybody can hear me. That'll be one worry out of the way. Hopefully, you will be able to see me as well when I press this button. Evening all. Evening all. Right. A big breath and we look at what we've got today. It is episode 2 of The Dredges. First and foremost, let us do some hellos and thank yous and welcomes. Welcome to all our players and thank you for joining us. Thank you, all of you in the viewing and the chat. And a big shout out to Hero Forge as well. That is exactly what we needed to do. Um, Spelt slightly differently there, Miss Blackthorn, but well done for getting that correct. It's amazing. So yeah, um, Hero Forge, we have to say a big thank you for. They have very generously gave us permissions to use their images from their website for our characters. Um, and many of the character images are designed using Hero Forge, which is a wonderful way to create your own custom miniatures and get them 3D printed. You can find them at www.heroforge.com. Please note anything mentioned on the stream may not represent the view or beliefs of Hero Forge Sky Castle Studios LLC product. Um, yeah, they are amazing. Seriously, if I'm sure you already have, but if you're kind of watching this on catch up or video on demand, check them out. They are seriously crazy good fun to create characters on there. You can download the file and get them 3D printed yourself, or you can get them to print it for you. And they do colour ones now. It's unbelievable. It is magic. So that is all the welcomes and thank yous out of the way. These games, these Untold Chronicle games, are only an hour and a half long, so we are going to cut to the chase and we're going to go straight into the game. So, the Dredges, far to the north of the smoke. Last episode, we found our protagonists waking up on another cold, wet day. Their morning routines being rudely interrupted by the arrival of a young gentleman by the name of Elwood, the son of the smithy Sullivan Christie, and someone who had particularly paid lots of attention to the teachings of the new arrivals. Very distressed, he was hiding underneath the schoolhouse and surgery. Um, the sharp hearing of our protagonist, though, drew them out, and they soon discovered the reason why he was so distressed. His father had been murdered. To make it worse, his mother had been accused of said murder. The marshal and his deputies had come, arrested her, and taken her away to the jail. Elwood was safely sort of secured into the much warmer and drier schoolhouse while our heroes set off to try and solve what was going on. They first went to the smithy and gained entry into the house. They discovered some disturbing things there. Wanted to check it further, they headed out to the undertaker, found more information there, and then finally headed to the marshal's office and jail, where there was a little bit of an altercation between the deputies, which was smoothed over a little bit by Clyde, and they were given permission to enter the jail and speak with Verla Christie, the wife of the murdered blacksmith. That is where we closed the last episode, and that is where We are about to open episode 2. So, uh, Dorvid, Clyde, Pectinus, and Defargo, you are there. She's looking bleary-eyed and distressed. Your soft words have calmed her down a little bit, as she certainly recognises you, Pectinus, and you, Dorvid. You've been so kind to her son, teaching him things he would never have been able to pick up in Hope or the Dredges. She listens to what you have to say. Are you going to ask her
We
anything?
don't think he did it.
Uh, that is that is reassuring, friend Dorvid. Of course I didn't do it. I mean, why would I? I loved him. I know life is tough up here, and we've had our moments, but things were getting better. Um, Elwood started schooling. Um, Things were, yes, looking much better. Of course, I didn't kill him, but you have
Marshals are
every.
idiots.
Sorry.
Deputies are idiots.
Shh! I wouldn't let them hear it, otherwise you'll be spending the night in here with the rest of us.
Oh well. Already know
My
it.
dear, my dear, is there anything you might be able to tell us about what happened to your husband?
Uh, in truth, I know very little. Um, I'd got up early, as I do. Um, Started the breakfast, went out, started sorting some of the forge to get ready for when he wanted to have it lit in the way that he wanted to. Then I heard a horrible noise, a gurgling, and I thought he was maybe having a fit or something. As soon as I heard it, I fled back in through the house to the bedroom, and he was there dead. He was just dead. And as soon as I saw that, I didn't know what to do, so I fled out into the street and I started calling for help. You know, these dredges, getting help is difficult. They all thought I'd lost my mind or gone crazy or perhaps had too much to drink. No one cared. And by the time I got attention, uh, the marshal had made his way across. I mean, I must have looked a state. I was wearing my bedclothes, bare feet, in the mud of the dredges. I think I'd even slipped at one point, and as she kind of shows you, she's kind of smeared with dried mud now. Um, they dragged me into the house again. I tried to explain it couldn't have been me. I had nothing to do with it. Uh, the marshal, I believe, was still deep in his cups. He said that I'd gone mad, that I obviously had killed him, and that I was a danger. And his deputies gleefully dragged me here. I have no idea what's happened to Elwood. Elwood, where's Elwood? Where is he?
Elwood the thief. He's on a mission. He looks after.
Oh, that is one thing. You must promise me, If they try me and find me guilty and I hang, please look after him. If they send me to the stank, please look after him.
Hell yeah.
I
Let's
mean,
hope it won't come to that.
I care little about myself, but Elwood, poor Elwood.
We will make sure he's okay.
Hell yeah.
You
Is
are.
there anything? Is there anything that out of the ordinary that had happened in the days leading up to your husband's death?
She thinks for a moment, and
Strange customers or anything?
I don't want to speak ill of people, especially when there's. I believe he has been murdered. I do not think he had a fit or a seizure or a heart attack. And I don't want to spill ill of people, but if I didn't do it, somebody else did. The only things that I can think of really is, and she deliberately takes a breath and she kind of chooses her words carefully, not trying to hide anything, but she doesn't want to sound crazy or like she's casting blame. There is somebody, the stable master. You probably know him, although he tends to very much keep himself to himself most of the time. Morris Hagen. He made some some unsolicited suggestions to me. He made advances, which I obviously denied. He seemed to got very, very angry at that. He's done it twice now, and I mean, he's the only person I can think of. He's a little strange. I'm unsure. I don't think he's all there. It's why I left it just to be. I didn't want to tell my husband because I didn't really want anything to come of it. But I mean, he couldn't have got into the room. No one could have got past me. I mean, I know it was early and I was tired, but it doesn't make any sense.
Hey, roll an insight check.
I don't think I can stop you, so go for it. But bear in mind, we are using the new rules, so critical fails can happen. 16 though is good. Yeah, she's distraught. You perhaps have also met Morris Hagen, and he is a little standoffish, really. He certainly hasn't visited your surgery, but you've seen him in passing. She's not hiding anything from you.
And so no sort of like she's looking uncomfortable, but like be able to ascertain like if she bloody had a
With that
little
insight
cheeky
roll,
snog with him. Yeah.
with that insight roll, I've said she's not hiding anything from you. You can make of that as you will, as I say, with a big smile on my face.
All right then.
Yeah. So Yeah, she's everything that she has told you so far from that insight roll. She's been telling you the truth. If you want to push it and ask her more specifically, you more than welcome can.
He shown made any advances on any other women in town, or he shown any violent qualities?
Me, me. You think I'm
Did
like
it,
you think I'm like
no,
those that
No, Morris.
stable master.
Hell no.
uh, you'll be telling me next that I should hang around the roadhouse, maybe work for Theodora McCabe. I mean, of course I didn't make any advances.
I said, did stable master, has he made any advances on anyone else in town?
I don't know. I don't spend that much time. The only interactions we have really is, um, you know, the horseshoes that I have taken across to him. That's it. It's been purely business.
Defargo holds his hands out and looks over at Dorvid and Pectinus and Clyde. Let's move on then.
Pectinus, you said that without moving your lips.
Quite. Um,
Defargo
yes.
sighs and
Thank-
rolls his
we,
eyes.
we will. We'll get to the bottom of this, fella.
I have little coin, but whatever I have, I'm more than happy. If you want to, I mean, they, I mean, you know how it works here. There's no real trial. They'll just bring it in front of, well, the mayor. I mean, he's not even a mayor really. He just runs the place, doesn't he? He'll make a decision based on however he's feeling at the time, and let's face it. If I'm not going to get sent to the stank, I'm just going to swing. Please look after Elwood.
Hell yeah.
Of course.
I think we should go and visit the stable master.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess just I don't know what to think. And she begins to sort of well up again. She's trying her best to stay strong, but this is obviously um, causing her substantial amount of distress.
Defargo will go to the door that we came through, that presumably was shut behind us
Yeah.
and call out, "Oh damn! I trod in something nasty."
Okay. They're not quite sure what that means, but they hear your voice and they open. You hear the key turn in the door, and the door sort of opens up. Um, so they look at you.
"Oh damn! I trod in something nasty." Smiles at them.
I, whatever. Are you finished? Well, let's say
Yes.
you have
For,
finished.
for,
Get
for the
out of
time
here.
being.
Go on, out.
And just before we leave, Pectinus just lays his hand on Verla's arm in a sort of comforting gesture, nods to her, and then we'll walk out with the others.
Okay. So you walk out into the marshal's office. He's still fast asleep on the rocking chair, feet up on the table. Um, the two deputies say, "Well, there we go then." They lock the door. About your business, I guess.
Yes, and let me apologise again for our misunderstanding earlier. If whatever happens with Verla, we will of course need to come back before she is sent on her way to perform our final ceremonies and such. So if you would be able to let us know when our services are needed, we'd be most grateful. And I'll put my hand out to offer a handshake.
He kind of looks at you, right, takes your hand, shakes it. Yeah, well, I guess everybody is entitled to one final send-off. He seems to be genuine. He knows that not only you're a schoolmaster, you're also a religious man, and he takes that on board. You know, he's not being particularly dodgy about the situation. What you do read into that without an insight roll, though, is he thinks she, you know, she's guilty and going to swing.
Yeah. Okay.
But you seem to have smoothed things over a little bit. It wasn't so much you questioning them; it's calling them idiots and not doing their job that didn't go down perhaps too well with your initial entrance. Rapidly then, if there's nobody else wants to say anything, you find yourself back out on the muddy main street of Hope.
Defargo makes a noise like a horse
Mhm.
and looks questioningly at the others.
Perhaps. Do we?
Fargo, we don't have time to go and get ice cream.
So, to the stable masters?
Hell yeah.
Probably the sound of the horse was
Yeah.
an indication that that's exactly what sort of 2 or 3 minutes previous Defargo was meaning. Okay, Hope is a sizable town, one of the larger ones in the Dredges, but as stated before, it's really easy for you to find the stables. These are the stables for people travelling in and out of Hope. It's a lot of travellers from the south and from around the Dredges that are heading back south sort of come through here. So it's quite a large concern, and there are several stable hands. The person in charge of it, the stable master, is this Morris Hagen. Are you trying to find him, or are you trying to snoop around? What are your intentions?
I think I'm more interested in a bit of a snoop, to be honest. Maybe have a bit of a chat with some of the stable hands and get some idea of what they think about Morris.
Okay, I mean, there's probably a good 6 or 7 people that sort of work here. It doesn't pay well. It's hard and it's a dirty job, mucking out, sort of washing down the horses. It's not a particularly glamorous job, but it pays a few coins, and that's enough to at least get some bread to fill your stomach. So, looking around, there's no one that particularly looks familiar, but you can choose someone. head towards them. Are you looking for anybody in particular, or you just
Now, whoever looks most alert, really.
okay? So there's you certainly know Morris Hagen, so you could easily spot him if he was about, and there's no sign of him at the moment. You find an individual, probably late teens, thin, gangly, but wiry, as if like they have been working hard here for quite a number of years. There is, though, the smell of stables about them. He kind of looks up and sort of, he's got bleary eyes, really. He kind of gives you quite a simple smile, and you notice he's missing two of his teeth. Hello.
Good morning. We'd like to ask you a few questions about your boss, Morris.
Well, you need to speak to him.
I'll remove a silver piece and play it across the back of my hand.
His eyes just go almost cartoon-esque large. He kind of indicates to one of the stalls that has got a horse in, and kind of moves in there.
I'll head that way with him.
What? I'll tell you anything. What do you want me to make up?
Nothing really. We just want the truth. It pays better that way.
Truth. He looks confused at the moment. What do you mean?
We've heard he's a bit odd.
Yeah, yeah, he's he's odd. People call me odd, but they think he's odder. So I join in with them.
What specific oddness would you say he has?
Well, you can't hear him. You can't hear him at all. He's just like, you'll be kind of resting up a little bit on your shovel, and suddenly he's there. And for someone who doesn't say much, he's got a right temper on him. He flies off the handle sometimes. It wasn't me, but he gave Seth a big whipping once.
Well, what was that for? Did he deserve it?
Well, he'd fallen to sleep, so I don't know. But he was, it wasn't nice, and he couldn't sit down for a good week.
I've heard he quite likes the ladies. Is that the case?
Oh no, not really. He doesn't. When we get a bit of money, occasionally we get our bread, and we kind of from across the street we go and sort of hang out and watch the ladies of the roadhouse. Sometimes they're nice to us, and they come outside and they wave and the like. But he never wants to come. No, he prefers his horses.
And does he sleep here, or has he got rooms somewhere?
Yeah, really, he kind of spends most of his time in the barn yonder across the yard. He kind of points to this barn, and you can see it across there. It's kind of a 2-story hayloft. I think he kind of beds down in there at night.
Is he in there
He's an
now?
intelligent
You what, David?
Sorry, I'll let Clyde finish what he's saying.
Okay, Clyde, what did you say?
I was just saying, is he over there now?
Don't think so. No, he's not seen him today.
Is that unusual?
Oh yeah, but like I say, he has this way of creeping up on you. It's right. Ugh, it makes my skin crawl.
Well, I'll tell you what. You go maybe enjoy yourself at Theodora's tonight, and I'll drop in the silver piece.
Oh, thank you. He begins to sort of rub himself down, trying to almost tidy himself up, almost trying to rub off the smell of horses from him. But yeah, so you kind of leave there. There are people sweeping out, mucking out. It seems to be business here, but give me perception rolls. It's not going to hurt to see whether you can spot anything. This is just a general sort of look around this place. So yeah, Pectinus and Dorvid, you've got. Oh, that's your insight roll. Sorry. Oh wow, Clyde. Very nice, and that is a critical success. So yeah, you kind of look around, and there is no sign of him basically from where you're standing at the moment. It seems that the lad that you were speaking to was telling you the truth.
I would suggest we have a look round yonder barn.
Hell yeah.
Agreed.
Okay, so
Caution lads.
if that is what you want to do, then we can do this. Boom, 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 boom. So we need to get your characters into here. So it's a smallish two-story building. There is a pile of hay. Oops. A pile of hay to the east side of the barn. Two big double doors that are closed at the moment. And looks pretty much like this as I share that with you. The doors are partially open so you can kind of see in, and there are indeed a number of stalls in there as well. There are two horses in there at the moment. Boom, boom. I'm going to put those in because DeFager knows why. It's a promise I made to him earlier. Oops, let's try that again. So you can hear there's two horses in there. Other than that, though, nothing from standing outside at the moment.
Can we hear anything?
No, you can hear the horses moving around, as I say, without going in and investigating fundamentally, pretty much as I have described it.
Does it look to be locked?
And no, the doors are slightly open.
I'll sort of peer in round the door.
Okay, there are a couple of they're not really windows. You know the stalls that are used to. You should be able to move around now, but bear in mind I am watching where you are moving, and if you move to a position that something is going to trigger, then it will trigger. So I'm just saying that, Dorvid. I can see you moving off. So yeah, so there are these half doors that can be open to the outside, so the horses can be kind of fed from outside. It's a fairly large barn area, and you can see that there's 2 horses. The horses look expensive, and there's some quite expensive tackle. You think that these might actually belong to someone of importance, someone with money, certainly. Could be someone passing through or somebody from Hope itself.
Andy, is there any food in the container currently?
You mean for the horses?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. The horses are definitely being looked after well.
Defargo's going to see whether he can sort of get the horse to focus on him while they might be opening the door. He's making some nice horse noises at it and offering it some of its food.
Okay. That is brilliant. I think we need an animal handling roll. Oh, very nice. With the food as well, lowered the DC. This one here is going to come across to you. It's kind of nuzzling you. This is most definitely a riding horse rather than some kind of aggressive war horse. It likes the attention. Yeah, it's not particularly bothered or spooked by you. You've managed to calm that one down quite nicely. It's literally eating out of the palm of your hand, literally.
I'll count any feathers that get scooped. I don't know how the anatomy works.
Yeah, I would imagine you've got claws, a little clawed hand rather than feathers on the palm of your hand. That is, I don't know. Chicken feet, but for hands.
I'm having visions of activities that are just going to be very painful.
So, does anybody else want to do anything? Defargo is calming down one of the animals, quite possibly to allow someone to get entry without spooking the horses. There is a second horse in a stall further down.
I'm going to move in
Yeah,
sort of half speed, keeping my eyes and ears open.
So it sounds very much like you want to try and do a stealth roll.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so give me a stealth roll then. Moving at half speed and moving cautiously is good, so go for that. Yeah, it's not too bad. The barn door creaks a little bit as you begin to move in a little bit. And Dorvid, you said you were moving around a little bit. What are you doing?
Could I have a look through the window, please?
Yeah, it's easy enough to look in. There's an empty stall there. I think you can see that because we're not on fog of war there. It's fairly easy to see that that's just an empty stall.
Okay.
I'm just keeping an eye on Clyde to keep everyone sort of in contact, as it were.
Yeah, coordinating. That's very good.
Would I be able to have a just little look around the corner, see
Yeah, absolutely.
if there's anyone or anything?
Okay, just let me roll this dice as you move around the corner. Okay, now you can't see anybody at all.
Or back up to Vexinus?
Okay. So, Clyde, as you sort of get in, this barn area is relatively well kept. As I say, you can see that there is expensive tackle hanging from the walls, and both these horses are incredibly well bred. Unlikely to be the stable masters, but have got sort of preferential sort of treatment in this barn here. You can see towards the top of the stables towards the north, there is most definitely a flight of stairs going upwards. Now you can see that the flight of stairs goes up to a sort of upper hayloft, and if someone was going to sleep, it'll be sort of up there basically.
I will make my way in, still quietly and stealthily, like some sacrificial party member on his own.
Yeah.
And I'll just literally keep my eyes and ears open for any noises that isn't horse related.
Okay. So give me a perception roll this time. You're still stealthing, no one's really sort of seen you. Wow. Wow. Your perceptions are super good.
I'm currently using my only 2 very good skills.
Yep. Which is good. I need to check this out though. I don't think. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. You hear movement upstairs. It's a strange kind of movement. Sounds almost like a slithering.
I'll sort of gesture to Pectinus and come in, and I'll point upstairs and tap my ear.
Mm-hmm.
I think at that, Pectinus nods and goes, "He says we should go look upstairs," and starts walking in.
Okay, so yeah, feel free to move yourself in. The doors are not locked.
Can't move myself.
No,
you can't move. You can't move yourself. There we go. We've had a little problem with Fantasy Grounds. Are you still, Defargo, looking after this horse at the moment?
Defargo would like to come in, but Mike can't move him at the moment.
Yeah, again, I think it has something to do
Oh,
with. I've just done it for you.
Cheers.
I don't. It's not the lock token thing. Token movement locking mode. But okay, what is
there we go.
you trying to do? Are you gonna?
Well, when everybody's up to me, I'll whisper that it sounds like there's some strange slithering upstairs.
With the roll that you got, which was 24, it kind of almost sounds like a snake.
A very big snake.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's relatively heavy, so you would assume that maybe some kind of, python or anaconda. You're not talking about slithering of a small grass snake.
I will explain this and say that it sounds very like cleric work to me.
Far north. Snakes this far north.
Undead crushy snakes.
Bloody.
Well then, perhaps we should all go. I'll take the lead if you want, but I would appreciate your particular skills to be there too.
Yeah, definitely.
Deal me in.
I will take my particular skill off my back and knock an arrow to it.
Okay. So Pectinus managed to move then. How can everybody
it
move?
seems to be sorted now.
Can everybody else move, or is there still this glitch going on?
I've now stopped being able to move.
Yeah, I'm elastic banding again.
Okay, no worries. So I'm assuming you're going to sort of make your way upstairs. Who's going to be the what's your marching order?
Pectinus.
So Pectinus, then who's
Very good.
next? David,
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
The others can see over us.
then
Yeah.
Clyde and DeFago. Okay.
Yeah, I wanna hang back maybe 10 feet or so I've got a bit of aiming over halfling room,
Okay.
should it be necessary.
Yeah, at the moment it's a little bit difficult because hopefully you can see that from the upper level now. As you kind of get up here, you can look down into the stables. This is just a balcony. There is no health and safety here, you'll be pleased to know. There is a very low, maybe only 1 foot lip to this loft, fundamentally to stop things just tumbling down. There is no lip here at all, and there is no sort of a lip here at all. The noise that you can hear with that roll was coming from this section here. The slithering seems to have stopped, though, with your movement up the stairs. Let's see if we can zoom in for our viewers.
Yeah.
I can move, I think. Oh, no.
No.
So if you just describe to me how you want to sort of move around. At the moment, you can't really see anything.
I think, assuming Clyde is going to tell us where the noise was coming from,
Yeah.
Pectinus will start heading that direction.
Okay, you're moving with Pectinus, David. You're keeping about 10 foot behind you too. Is that about right?
Yes.
Yeah, everybody happy with that
Yeah.
at the moment?
Yeah.
Maybe just a bit further north if we're talking about north, just so I can see around the corner.
Yeah, this is not really, this is only about a foot up
All
this
right.
lip. So you can basically see the whole of this loft area. As you get to sort of there, I would like David and Pectinus to give me a perception roll again, please.
Hey.
That's good. Well done, Pectinus.
Perception.
Yeah, please.
Oh. Did I roll?
No, you just need to double click on the number on your skill. That's it.
I did do it. It gave me a natural 20, but it didn't bloody count it.
Oh.
Well, nothing came up on the system, I'm afraid. So, Pectinus, you see these quite clearly, sort of in this area here, about here and here. At first, you see the snakes that has been described to you, kind of a lung tube of a cylinder, kind of moving somewhat. And then you realize that's no snake, as the whole thing begins to not just unfold but stand up, as you see two horrible things revealing themselves. You see a grotesque human body moving like jelly. Its split open front reveals that the creature itself has no bones. Looks like that. And
Wonderful.
they both begin to shamble towards you. It's at this point I would like you all to give me initiative rolls, please.
Oh, well, there go all the good rolls.
Sure.
Basically, the only role where a crit isn't a crit, isn't it?
Yeah, so David, you need to double click on your initiative. It's in the center of your character sheet. That's it. Boom. Very nice. So we have our first combat in the Dredges. Pectinus, you are going first on an initiative of 21.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think taking a look at these things, I mean, they look pretty nasty. That's
Absolutely.
my first thought.
They look terrible.
Let me just remind myself of one thing.
Just for our viewers, they are horrific.
Okay, so before I run forward
Hmm.
and try and keep them away from our less well-defended archers, I am going to attempt to bless some of us.
Perfect. So what is the range of bless?
30 feet, which I think means I can't reach Defargo,
Unfortunately not.
which is convenient because I can only target 3 people anyway.
Okay.
That makes my decision a little easier. So hopefully.
So you've targeted all of those. If you go to your
Yep.
actions, click on the little tennis racket. There you go. And that is beautiful. So that's your action. You still have a move action and a bonus action.
I would like to run up to the nearest husk.
Hmm. So I can move that. That is 20 feet. Won't let me move you now. There you go. 20 feet to there.
Cool. And I can't do anything with a bonus action because I've already cast a spell.
No worries. So we then move to Clyde.
I shall attempt to put an arrow in the guy who Pectinus has just charged.
Okay. So targeting Husk 1. Very nice.
And I should get my stealth attack, shouldn't I?
Not
my stealth, my
You will
Sneak
get
attack.
sneak attack due to the fact there's an ally next to him. Yes, absolutely.
assuming I hit anything, of
Yeah,
course.
you have got an extra D4 that should roll automatically because of bless. There we go. But you do hit, and you get to add your sneak attack. I don't know if you've got that set up.
I have not,
Okay, so
and I'm not sure how to do so.
don't worry too much about that. If you go to your actions, you've hit. Obviously, you're in your actions. You was using your short bow, yeah. So click on the 1d6 plus 3 piercing for the moment. So you do 5 points of damage, and then just roll an extra d6, and I will add that to the damage that you have done. It is but a single point of damage, but it all counts. Very nice. Then we move to riding horse, number 2. Down there, it is not happy. It starts whinnying at the sound of things. Then we move to husk number 1. Husk number 1 is going to target this very brave Pectinus as it makes an attack against you, and it hits. Now this is interesting because what it does is horrible. It basically opens its interior and smothers you as you become completely grappled and restrained by this creature.
Excellent.
In addition, at the start of each of the target's turns, you will be taking some ongoing damage. We then move to Dorvid.
I am going to. Can I see this guy? Husk 2.
You can see all of them. Boom, 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 boom. You can see all of them.
Okay. Move myself again. But I will target Husk 2.
Where did you want to? Did you want to move forward or?
Just move forward 2 squares.
About there. You are 40 feet away from husk number 2.
Am I targeting it?
Yes, you are.
And I will cast Guiding Bolt.
Okay. So you hit. Very nice. Destroying that creature immediately. I'm just waiting for Fancy Grounds to catch up.
And I will run the rest of my movement up to Pectinus.
Okay. Yep. So you got 25, haven't you? That's about right. Then we move to Defago.
Is the creature still wrapped entirely around Pectinus?
It is indeed.
Do I feel that's going to make things awkward for any arrows that I fire? Well, not for the arrows, but for Pectinus, to be frank.
I'm going to say, because that you have asked me that question, you can give me a roll. I'll let you choose what kind of roll to determine whether that is the case or not, but for free. It's not taking your action to make that decision.
Okay.
So this could be anything from nature to perception to whatever you can pitch to me to kind of work out how this works.
So is Pectinus wearing armor?
Pectinus.
Yes.
Using his, could be the perception or medicine because they're both the same bonus. He will think to where he was, his position, and try and fire to a point that would probably hit his shield or a pauldron of his armor rather than his face.
Well, just give me a perception roll then. Boom, boom, boom. This is more to determine whether you're going to hurt him or not. Yeah, that is good enough. As you kind of look at him, he's completely there. Yeah, if you hit this creature, you are going to do damage to Pectinus as well.
Okay, and do I think that's regardless of whether it's arrow or hand to hand, any sort of damage is going to be?
Yeah, this is a thin sheet of flesh that has encased him. I mean, it could be argued that if you get right up to it, you can try and tear the flesh off him. But if you are doing an attack, that strike is going to cut through into Pectinus as well.
Andy, what's the name of a festival that would be the Dredges equivalent of Christmas? Not that they celebrate anything the Dow a lot.
Winterfest is probably the most common name.
In which case, Defago will stop targeting. But will move his 30-foot move over each west and
West.
shout out. What was it again? It's
Winterfest.
Right. It's Winterfest. Unwrap your presents.
Perfect. Very nice. Riding horse
Hoping.
1 is spooked. Now, Pectinus, you're grappled and restrained. This husk is going to do an automatic damage to you because you are in there. It is 3 points of damage. Boom, boom, boom.
Everyone loses.
Yeah, you lose bless. Bless drops. Now,
I don't know how we do that.
fundamentally, we can set it up that when you cast it, you can put the concentration onto you, so it will automatically do it when you take damage, make the roll. But I've done that for you
Okay.
now anyway. So it's the start of your turn. You are smothered by this creature. You can, should you wish to, attempt to escape this creature by doing an escape attempt, which will be strength athletics or dexterity acrobatics. You
Okay.
can though attack it if you want, but you are restrained, blinded, and suffocating at the moment. So your attack is going to be not particularly strong. You are aware that your allies probably will hurt you if they strike at this creature.
Yeah.
Oops, you took 3 points of damage there. What would you like to do?
Good question. So Pectinus is probably panicking a little bit. He's completely encased and he's not particularly strong, not particularly capable physically. I think he's just going to try and get it off the only way he knows how.
Mm-hmm. So, what did you do?
I attempted to cast a sacred flame at it.
Okay, so yeah,
Oh.
it failed its dexterity roll.
Barely.
So you then get to do your damage. Okay, now this is interesting.
Will I also take that damage or some damage?
Well, yeah, half of the damage is given to it, and half of it
Okay.
is given to you. So you will take 4 points of damage, making it 7. And you did exceed its damage by 4 points, which is just enough to kill it. So as you call down this sacred flame, you are blasted by the radiance as well, but the suit itself is shredded and collapsed to the floor. And you have most definitely killed that creature. Well done. You are currently out of initiatives. Within a couple of seconds, well, within 12 seconds, you have rapidly dealt with that undead threat. And these horrible creatures are no more.
How much is left of them? Do we have corpses?
Yeah, you have the horrible skin suits still left. They are certainly visible as these horrible entities that have had their innards and bones removed. Excuse me.
I think Pectinus would like to first take a few moments to stand looking completely mortified and shell-shocked before his eyes just sort of drift down to the remains around his feet, because he definitely wants to have a look and see if this is anything like what the undead flesh that David and Clyde both found
Okay.
traces of.
Yeah. There's no roll needed. Yeah, blatantly. These two things, even one of these things, if they took someone by surprise when they're sleeping, they could easily smother someone. I mean, you are learning the ropes as a protagonist, really. but there are substantially more people that are less skilled than you. Simple folk would have easily died to the first attack upon you.
While they're doing this, I'm going to keep an eye on the front doors from the rail.
Yeah, you've got a
And is there any obvious sign from where I'm standing of where the stable master might sleep? Is it the side where these creatures were? Or is it likely to be the other half?
give me a perception roll, because you're not best placed. You're best placed for kind of watching the stable doors without doubt, but you're not best placed for investigating. But give us, because you have asked, look at that.
So I was perfectly positioned.
You think that you can kind of see that there is some kind of rough sleeping area or cot sort of in this direction here.
I shall edge round that way then, but I'll keep a close eye on the doors as I'm heading round.
Okay.
These skin suits look familiar.
Hell yeah.
Do they
It's-
look like maybe people in town or anything?
Give me a history roll, I guess. You've only been here a small amount of time. You don't
Nine.
overly recognise.
As somebody who's lived here for a number of years, would it be worth me and Defargo having a look?
Yeah, you can. I mean, this is a horrible, grisly thing to do as you stretch these skin suits out and try and work out whether you know these people. But yeah, are you working together with this, or are you both individually trying to tell?
I'm happy to work together and make occasional sounds of people who we know, who we haven't seen in a while, as we go through the possibilities.
Okay. So that means you, Clyde, give me a history roll, but with advantage.
Mercifully.
Again, you're unsure, really. It's very difficult to tell, especially in this state that they are. You
Could
don't.
I tell that they're not Morris?
Oh yeah, neither of these are definitely not Morris. The skin is decayed, perhaps animated to keep it from truly going liquid, but these have been dead for a while. You don't think either of these two is Morris?
So can I have a investigate of the bedding area in the corner?
Absolutely. I most definitely recommend it. Give me a investigation roll. Very nice. Doesn't take a huge amount to find the following scattered about. Let's do that again. If you look in the party sheet, you can see the following. Basically, there's an alabaster mask that is kind of faceless. The strange thing is, there doesn't seem to be kind of any eye holes in it either. There's a black hooded robe, but it's expensively made. Very fine materials, and you think there might even be is that silver thread, actual real silver threaded through it. There's a whole host of black candles, a censer, an incense block, a sack that everything is in, and a tinderbox. If you go to your little party sheet icon and click on that, then go to the inventory page, that will show you all of those items for you.
Yeah. Do the alabaster mask and the robe mean anything to us?
Give me a religion roll.
Yeah.
It does.
as well.
Yeah. It doesn't mean anything, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't ask you to make rolls. Pectinus.
Reroll natural ones, I think. Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
yeah, you
yeah.
got a natural 20.
You smashing halfling, you.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it automatically did it for you.
It did. I only saw the one appear.
Yeah. There's a new thing that I've created called half. I haven't created it. It's an add-on that does that. So you don't
Oh,
need to
that's great.
remember anymore. And if it keeps doing that when you roll a 1, it turns it into a 20. So even with those outstanding rolls, the first thing that you are convinced of is none of this is a known religion, either for good or ill. Just the makeup of the mask and the robe, both very, very nicely done. Your gut feeling is this is much more of a cult than a religion. And with the roles that both of you got, normally cultists don't tend to operate alone. It could be something as simple as some kind of small triad, maybe 3 people, or 13, a coven, or even quite an extended sort of group of people. You're not quite sure exactly. It could be fiendish, either abyssal or infernal. Could be fey orientated, probably dark, or it could even be kind of some kind of aberrant worship to some kind of elder horrors. But you haven't got enough information. But you're certainly convinced it's not a major religion, either good or ill.
Yeah.
There's bloody cults, isn't there?
Do we feel like, I'm just thinking, is this enough to take to the marshals for them to actually do their job, or
So this is an interesting question. Traditionally, if you were perhaps somewhere else, absolutely. There's enough evidence here not to accuse him of the murder, perhaps, although he did find very similar sort of undead flesh next to the body of the smithy. There would be certainly enough to draw him in for questioning, but what I need, are you just thinking this internally, or are you just discussing it with the rest of the group as well?
I think I would have suggested the same.
Okay. So you can
Maybe if
most
we don't think the marshal will go for it, it could maybe go to Mayor Boyd and spin it as if this gets out, people might stop coming to town and spending their money.
give me an insight roll first, everybody, basically, as you kind of begin to discuss it.
I'd also say I'm more interested from the perspective of, is it enough evidence to get the wife out of prison?
So this is an
Than to get the
interesting
other
one.
guy in.
This is, I mean, there's enough potential evidence, absolutely. If they believe you, that's first and foremost. You need them to believe what you're saying rather than them believing that you have found this stuff or it's your own stuff or whatever else, really. But with the 22 Defago, it's going to be an interesting one for you to communicate this complex thing, and I'm very much looking forward to it. The real
Can we
problem,
all insight check to Fago?
maybe in a minute. The really interesting thing that you easily pick up on Defago, and I allow you to kind of rationalize how you come by this thought, is that in all possibility, yes, you should be able to do this. The problem is that it looks very much like this stable master is a member of a cult. The big problem is that who else is a member of this cult? And if you take the evidence to them, then it might fall on false ears or even open you all up to a similar sort of fate that met the smithy. Ultimately, it all depends and hinges on who can you truly trust in hope. There you go. For the next 15 minutes, I'm going to look forward to Defago in his many sounds. Over to you.
Okay, so Defago will wave his wings, his hands, and scoop up one of the husks, what's left of them. Ooh, what have you got here? He will then hand it to the next person nearby. Hell yeah. And then pull out a dagger, turn the person round and mime stabbing him in the back.
Perfect. There's no insight rolls needed from the rest of you. I think you can easily draw your conclusions from that. That was beautiful. I'm going to give you a DM's
Just do one
inspiration,
anyway.
Defago. I've gave you a DM's inspiration, Defago, for that very clever way of miming out in a Kenku kind of way.
Cheers, Andy.
It's up to you. I'm not telling you as a GM you can't do anything. I have just presented this potential problem that you might face. Of course, I could as a GM just be playing with you.
It's likely that the marshal and the deputies really wouldn't be in any cult. It sounds like much too much effort for them.
I think.
Defago will wave
perhaps...
his hands and then mimic the deputy who we spoke to last. I guess everyone deserves that. And shake his hands.
A good point. That deputy at least seemed sincere.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, and he also seemed to think she was guilty, which, if he was part of the cult, he probably wouldn't really, would he?
True.
Yeah.
So perhaps we should take our suspicions to him, but if we can try and talk to him in private rather than perhaps instigating this within earshot of the marshal.
I think that sounds good. I think maybe it happened. Stable master really fancied the wife. The wife wasn't having it because she was already married and happily married and everything. He decides to kill the husband, so maybe he gets with her. She gets blamed, and he worries that he'll get found out, so he's buggered off somewhere else.
And
So
obviously,
maybe in hiding somewhere.
we have 2 inside-out people and a couple of expert cleric witnesses. How well do you get on with Taylor Raycroft? Do you trust him?
Give
A good
me,
question.
yeah, this is a genuinely good question. Give me insight rolls now, both Dorvid and Pectinus, because
Sure.
obviously you've not really interacted with him outside of the game.
For God's sake.
With both of those rolls, it's difficult to say. He seems to be okay, but then again, everybody seemed to be okay until this morning, and it's almost like you've been given a new power to know that anyone within hope, maybe even outside of hope, could be a cultist. And obviously they try to hide it. They could be hiding it, or maybe not.
What did DeFargo and I think of him? Because obviously we've been around a while and we're on the more seedy side of the Hope population, shall we say.
No.
Does he get up to anything that we would class as perhaps not too whiter than white for his station?
No, I mean, he very much is, as far as you are aware, everything that you have seen, not that you really spent a lot of time with him, the perfect missionary, taking people in.
But then I suppose if you were in some secret cult, you might come across as the same.
Absolutely.
I want to trust him personally. He's heads up the mission. He's been good to us thus far.
He's not really giving us any reason to distrust him, has he?
No.
Well, he may
Indeed.
have.
And we could always, if we show him this mask, this cloak, perhaps if if I'm wrong about him and he is part of this, surely it'll be written all over his face
when he tries to kill us. But he may hold a lot more sway with the marshals and the mayor than the 2 new clerics in town as well. So getting him on side couldn't do any harm.
At the very least, we need to talk to him about Elwood anyway.
So are we going to gather up all of our evidence then and head that way?
Yes, we should certainly take one of these, if not both of these creatures, in case the stable master comes back and clears up after us.
DeFargo whirls round and points to the ground and himself and sort of makes to shoo you off.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
Hell yeah. Deal me in.
Before we head off, could we maybe get DeFargo to have a look around for tracks to see? I mean, if there is a cult, they might meet somewhere, and it may be that there's some sign of activity.
Absolutely. Feel free, DeFago, to give me a survival roll in this as you try and sort of track.
Can I help him? I don't really have a great survival skill, but I'm good at spotting things, and I could point out anything I think is unusual to him.
This will be a survival roll, so
in which case I shall stand at the wall and leave him to it.
Yes. Okay.
Before he starts though, I will try and provide. I'll cast guidance. Give him some words of clerical wisdom.
Okay. And at this point, I can remind you, DeFago, that you do also have a GM as an inspiration at the moment. So,
Okay, so here's the straight roll, and then I'll roll the d4 after.
Yep, that's fine. So give us the survival roll first, which is a very nice 19. You can choose to use the guidance if you want, so that makes it a 20. Do you want to use the GM's inspiration as well?
I think I'll save that if that's okay.
Okay, a 20 is good enough. Only just, though. This was a very hard sort of roll for you to do because this is stables. You don't find any kind of sign of cult activity within the stables, though. But this is most definitely where Hagen sleeps, where he keeps his most prized possessions, where these things lurked. And you do find a number of small tracks and scuffs that lead out quite rapidly, as if he was running round the back of the barn and into the woods. You have done almost the impossible with that 20 and seen where it looks like he has fled to for some reason. You do have the opportunity to try and follow him, or you have the opportunity to move back into town and speak to some of these other people. But that opportunity is not coming till we reach episode 3. There we go. You have done very well tonight, learning of the mysteries within Hope itself. Excellent stuff. A big thank you to you, the players, doing some epic role playing there. I'm loving all of the characters. You just all seem to kind of just gel together and fit this setting absolutely perfectly. I'm really enjoying every moment of it. And a big thank you to everybody who is viewing as well. Thank you very much for staying with us. Hope you've enjoyed episode 2 of The Dredges. We will be back
Shot
in
by
2 weeks, which will be, if I can call this up, I believe Wednesday the 10th of March. Tomorrow night I'll be doing a Twitch subscribers perk suggested stream. Then we'll do Battles of Legend on Friday. And then on Saturday, I believe it's Dust, and on Sunday, our very first Court of Five Thunders. So plenty more streams and Untold Chronicles going on this week. So without further ado, I shall say good night to everybody. Thank you very much for tuning in, and thank you very much to you, the players, for making this all work. Good night, everybody. Take care. See you all very soon.